everybody, and welcome back again to another video from the Fantasy Football Toolkit. I'm your host once again, James Blues, and today I'm going to give you a little bit of insider information. Now, I wrote an article about fantasy football mock draft tools. The one tool I didn't mention was ESPN, and there was a reason why I didn't mention it. At the time, the tool wasn't active. It wasn't accepting people doing their mock drafts. However, with all the other mock draft tools that I've been using, I like this one a lot more. So you just go to ESPN.com. It's basically games.espn.go.com/FFL, and that'll take you into fantasy football. Or you can just go to ESPN.com, click on fantasy games, go to fantasy football, and then go into their mock draft lobby. And here you can see a bunch of mock drafts, right? Now, there are two different types. They are snake and auction. You're also going to notice that the member count is different. Some are 8, some are 10, some are 12. I've seen them as high as 14. Now, all you have to do is find the draft type that you like, the league amount that you want, and click on it. So this is a snake 10-man. There are no spots available. Otherwise, I could have joined it. And this will happen too, by the way. You're going to notice that there's going to be a lot of times where there aren't going to be a lot of spots available. There are two ways to join this league. I can join this automatically, okay, and it'll randomly put me in a draft position. Okay, I'm going to leave this actually. And I'm going to go back down to it. Let's see. Well, I'm going to go to a 12-team snake league. And you could choose where you want to draft at too. You don't have to automatically let it happen for you. So I'm going to choose the 9th spot in this league. This is a 12-team league. Okay. It's going to tell me when my draft is going to start. It's going to tell me how much more time that I have. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video until it's about time for the draft to start. And then I'm going to put it back up so that you can actually see me going into the room and getting started with this, this league. Alright, the league's just about to start right now, and in a second it'll bong and we'll get a little link where we can actually start the actual draft application. Okay, so let's count it down. Come on. Someday we'll get it, now that we're down to 0. There it is. Alright, so we can either use the Flash version or we can use the light version. The light version is just nothing more than some JavaScript that allows you to bounce back and forth. I always launch the larger version, so that's what I'm going to do right now. A new window is going to open up and it's going to be in full screen, so I'm going to resize this a little bit for us so that you can actually see everything. I'll just do this and a little bit of this and a little bit more of that. And as you can see, this is my whole draft panel. Now with ESPN's, what I can do is I can go ahead and look at the draft summary. I can check out the rules of the scoring here. I can of course type in everybody. But the big thing is I can go down here and start to put players into some formatting so that I have an order for them. Now, what I don't like about this is I don't like the fact that I can't upload and use a predefined ranking. I really don't like that, because now I'm basically waiting and scrolling up and down and scrolling up and down. I will also mention to you this in the Flash version of this draft. You can't use your mouse wheel to scroll up and down. You have to actually go and either drag or click on the button to go up and down. You can sort the positions. Okay, and you can also get notes for them. Now, these might not be literally the notes that happened that day. They might be notes that happened a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, but they're still notes. The other thing, too, is as you pick, they're going to leave this board. And to keep them up there, you're going to click Show Unavailable so that you get a line through of them, and they'll be kind of faded out, but you could do that way. One other thing that I don't like about this draft is I was trying to experiment with not picking up a defense or a kicker. It doesn't allow you to do that. Say, for instance, that I wait until the very last rounds, the very last 3 rounds, to pick up a tight end, a defense, and a kicker, right? And I'm basically, usually when I do that, I go after Bennett from Chicago. I grab either Baltimore's defense, or I grab Pittsburgh's defense. And then for a kicker, I usually grab like Justin Tucker, or I grab Steve Hauschka from Seattle. It doesn't allow you to actually do that, to skip the defense and the kicker completely. If you're down to those last 3 spots, or the last 2 spots with defense and kicker, those are the only things that you're allowed to grab, which kind of sucks. But that's basically how this goes, and I'm going to show you a few draft picks that you can actually see the people leave the board. Oh, loud noises. And you see how the pick history starts to pop up. I can also look at other teams. You see how it switches the teams just by clicking on them. I can use the drop down, and I can see what round a player was taken from the team. So if I pick this player, I can see that it goes there. I can also see where the selection was. I can switch the teams like that too. So it's a pretty decent UI. It gives you a lot of information. This is the projected points. You can click on somebody to get their 2013 season totals, as well as their 2014 projections. You get the bye weeks. You get the added points. You can look at basically all of the stats that they would normally have that are kind of important to you. One thing I wish that they would do is allow you to set up your own point system. Maybe that's something that they'll eventually do, or maybe that's something that's out there on the internet I just have to find, but that would be cool too for those leagues that use like Superflex, which is basically a flex position that allows you to take a quarterback, as well as using 2 quarterback leagues, or even 3 wide receiver leagues, you know, those kind of things. Because as you can see, it's a standard quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex that could be any of those previous 3, and then a defense, kicker, and the rest are bench spots. So it is something that you can use to do a lot of drafting with. I've probably done probably approaching the 150, 200 mock draft kind of count right now, using ESPN, not really using NFL.coms. I've kind of shied away from that. So if you want to check out a real cool tool, really good UI, it's just a real solid kind of application, kind of drafting tool that you can use to see where people are drafting at, to see what your team makeup ends up being. Definitely check out the ESPN Fantasy Football Mock Drafting Tool. That's it for me for the Fantasy Football Toolkit. I am James Blues. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and send them on over to lostcause@fantasyfootballtoolkit.com. Take care.